Hey folks, it's Jim, it's Julie, it's the J-Team, it's Geeking Out episode 223. Welcome to the show, everyone. Let's get to some comic reviews, shall we? And I shall start off this week with My Little Pony #1.
You're starting with My Little Pony #1?
Yeah.
But My Little Pony.
Alright, we'll do a double review, okay? Alright, so every pony in Ponyville is acting strange, and it seems that the changelings, and even worse, Queen Crystallis, are back. Can the main six stop her and her minions before they are turned into pod ponies?
Well,
alright.
I won't comment because I know how it ends.
So, alright, if you're a fan, or a brony, or a Cutie Mark Crusader, this is the book for you. It is simply wonderful.
Even if you're not any of those things, it's still the book for you.
Oh god, yeah. There's so many great lines and one-liners and just visual gags in this book that are just hilariously funny. What? Yes, Derpy? Uh-huh. There are muffins hidden under the table.
Muffins in the table?
Muffins? Muffins!
Jim found the muffins.
Alright, so we're going to enjoy these muffins a little later. Thank you, Derpy.
Thanks, Derpy.
If you want a great book for your kids, or even just you because you might be a fan, like we are, this is the perfect book for you, and unfortunately, it's completely sold out. So good luck finding it. But if you do get a chance at getting My Little Pony #1, do pick it up. It is fantastic.
I agree. My biggest thing with it is that it was quippy.
Yeah,
it was
very,
cute
very
and
quippy.
funny, and I enjoyed all of the bright colors.
And it came with a free muffin.
And muffins, exactly. All right, first book for me. I heard that there was some upset that we didn't review Amazing Spider-Man 698, so I read that this week and reviewed it, and I'm really upset that I didn't read this last week because it was pretty fantastic. In this, we open up with Dr. Otto Octavius, aka Doc Ock, dying in a
I'm pretty sure people know who he is.
I'm recapping in case there are people watching who don't read Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, alright.
Or have been living under a rock.
For 50 plus years?
It could happen.
Alright.
So, Doc Ock is dying in a maximum security prison/hospital. And the only thing that he has said in weeks is one name. Peter Parker. Meanwhile, Peter Parker is enjoying the best day of his life. Aunt May is back up and walking after her accident. He's looking at getting back together with MJ. His job at Horizon in their research and development program is going extraordinarily well. Everything is coming up Milhouse for him.
That's usually not a good thing.
Yeah, he gets, all of a sudden, when he's at the hospital with Aunt May, he gets a page from the Avengers that he's needed at the Raft, which is the maximum security prison/hospital that Dr. Octavius is at. And Doc Ock wants to see him as his final wish.
This can't end well.
It ends so fantastically that I'm not going to tell you how it ends. All I will tell you is that for a lead-up storyline to end Amazing Spider-Man, it's fantastic. So, run out, get it while you still can. $6.99 is the 5th of December, and then the 26th of December is 700, which is the last Amazing Spider-Man issue. Go, pick it up, get it, it's really good.
Alright, next up we have Masks #1. And in this one, it's 1938 and the Justice Party has swept into office in New York State. But the newly elected officials are in control of powerful criminals who corrupt the laws to their liking, leading to a police state where only the Shadow, Green Hornet, Kato, the Spider, and others can protect the innocent.
Ooh.
Alright, so this is basically a team-up of tons and tons of classic characters. And it is absolutely gorgeous to look at.
It is very pretty.
This is completely painted by Alex Ross. So it is just beautiful to look at. You will not be disappointed, at least looking at this one. The story is a little cliche. I've kind of read this before in other books, but I still like it. It's really enjoyable, and the art just sells it that bit more. Mm-hmm. So, honestly, if you're a fan of Alex Ross's art and or these characters, check this one out. This is just beautiful to look at.
Alrighty. Next up for me is FF Marvel Now #1. And in this one, the Fantastic Four are working on finding their replacements while they go on their year-long adventure into space. And into
space!
The final frontier.
Where no one can hear you scream. We could go for hours. Keep going. Go.
Yes. Anyways, the kids of the FF are being interviewed, and they're bringing you really up to speed on what FF is about. That was probably my favorite part in this, because I wasn't sure what the deal was with FF. I just knew I had to read it because it ties in nicely with Fantastic Four #1. So, we now have a whole new group of adults supervising the FF, including Scott Lang, the Ant-Man, and Medusa, and it looks like it'll be really good. The art, I felt, was very two-dimensional.
Well, it's Paul Pope, so, yeah.
I wasn't really fond, and I felt like the art
as I've said to you before, certain styles require certain...
I just feel like the art in this case didn't lend anything to the story, didn't help the book along.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends.
It didn't detract, but it didn't help. But for getting to know some characters and learning some backstory, this is a great book. So if you'd like to know more about the FF, pick it up.
Alright. Next up, we have R.I.P.D. And in this one, Roy Pulsifer and Nick Walker are dead. But that doesn't mean their job in law enforcement is over, as a ghostly fanatic determined to undo all of creation with a connection to Roy's past 100 years ago strikes.
Ooh.
Alright, so this is a sequel to the original R.I.P.D. Series from Dark Horse, but it's also a prequel to the movie coming out next year with Jeff Bridges.
Interesting. What does R.I.P.D. stand for?
Rest in Peace Department.
Ah. Do they hunt zombies and vampires?
Basically, they hunt down people who are breaking the law of being, dead. So,
okay.
It's an interesting concept. I quite enjoyed this one. It's interesting art. I think they're really trying to go with the actual Jeff Bridges look for the character of Roy, which works. I like it. Story-wise, it's okay. There's a lot of backtracking between times, so you get a bit of Roy's history and how he joined the department and stuff like that. So I enjoyed it. It's a good prequel story to get into maybe the movie when the trailers and everything come, so you know a little bit more about it before you jump into the film. So if you're a fan of the original series or you're interested in the movie that's coming out, check this one out. It's actually pretty fun.
Sounds great. Next up for me is Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi Prisoner of Bojan. And this looks to be a sequel off of the original Dawn of the Jedi books that were happening a couple months back. In this one, Zesh, a young Force adept, was trained and enslaved by the Rakatan army and has escaped, finding himself now imprisoned on the planet of Bojan. But with the help of...
Bogan's not a very good vacation spot, I guess.
No, it's kind of difficult to get a tan. But with the help of another Force adept, a Jedi journeyman, Jedi spelt JED''AII, which I thought was really interesting and kind of different.
Yes, journeyman.
Will he be able to escape his confines of Bogan, and will he be able to recreate a Force saber for him?
No!
I think he could. It could happen.
Alright.
This was a good book. I enjoyed the art. There's enough intrigue left that I'd like to finish out the storyline to see what happens. because you do meet quite a few characters that I'm not familiar with, especially since I haven't delved into a lot of the Old Republic beginnings of the Jedi a lot. But it's a really good story, and I think people should pick it up.
Alright, and last up for me this week is Transformers Prime, Rage of the Dinobots. And in this one, the Dinobots must hold the line as Cybertron falls around them. They must try to make their escape, but Shockwave remains as well, continuing his deadly experiments. Alright, so, this one's a bit difficult to explain, but I'll try and do it with my best gusto. This is a continuation of the end of Fall of Cybertron, the video game.
Okay.
And it works itself into the Transformers Prime TV series continuity.
That doesn't sound so difficult.
Alright, here's where it gets a bit more difficult. At least one of these characters is supposed to be dead.
Alternate dimension.
Yeah, so there's some continuity issues with this, but I can look past that. It's actually a pretty darn fun Transformers book.
I liked it when I flipped through. It looked like the art was...
It's actually one of the really good Transformers artists drawing this, so it's actually really nice to look at. It's a fun story. It gives you a bit more info and background on the actual Dinobots and how they became Dinobots and stuff like that. Stuff that they couldn't really go into depth too much in the video game. Mm-hmm. And they certainly haven't done that on the show yet, so I quite enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, but quite honestly, it's a lot of fun. So if you're a Transformers fan, check this one out, because I would like to see how this actually works into the continuity.
I bet.
If at all.
Next up for me, Aquaman 14. This is a prelude to the new Throne of Atlantis storyline that DC is launching. It's crossing Aquaman with the Justice League. Through, it's 14, Aquaman 14, Justice League Aquaman 15, and 16, I believe. This
is what, the third or fourth gigantic crossover that DC's done in the last few months?
I think it's the 6th.
Oh, man.
Yeah, DC's been heavy on the crossovers lately.
Yep.
So in this, when Atlantean artifacts start to go missing, Arthur Curry, Aquaman, contacts his brother, the King of Atlantis, to try and figure out what's going on.
No.
Orm.
Orm. It's like Bob, and just not as fun.
A little similar. However, the trick comes in that Orm claims no responsibility.
Sounds like a king, yeah.
He has no designs on the surface world. He makes a point of mentioning how powerful the Atlanteans are, and that if they could cause some mass destruction, but that he doesn't really want to. So who is behind the thefts?
Black Manta.
He's imprisoned by Amanda Waller and being invited to join the Suicide Squad.
A seahorse.
Maybe. That's my best guess, too. I'm really excited about this. It was pretty fantastic.
Seahorse have those shifty eyes. You never trust
them. And
them.
I think that they're going to go in a really great direction with this Throne of Atlantis. And
last and certainly not least,
two extra reviews this week, actually it was.
Yep.
I also did Venom 27.1. And in this one, it's a great jumping on point for a lot of people if you would like to get into Venom. But Venom, better known as Eugene Flash Thompson, has been having a terrible year.
I'd say.
Crime Master learned his identity and tortured his family and himself, injuring his widowed mother. His girlfriend found out who he was and broke up with him. He's had that entire bit going on with Carnage.
Yep.
He had to defeat Hellstrom and is now dealing with the aftermath of him coming to Earth. And now it seems like the Venom might be getting a little bit out of control.
Oh joy, just what the Spidey universe needs.
I think so. So, if you're looking for Venom, this is a great one to pick up. It gives you a lot of history. You're looking at a very good place to come into the storyline. Great book, pick it up.
Alright, so that brings us to the close of another exciting episode. Me and Julie are going to go and enjoy our muffins. And for everyone out there, brony or not, bro hoof. See you next week.